everybody's on, I think. I think everybody's on. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. I know Terry and Katie are gonna be coming on too, so I'll watch for that, for them and let them in. Okay, you all set?
All set.
Okay, good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, December 7th, 2020 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen. We're gonna start with our first agenda item, which is a call to order. So Candace, please. Unmute yourselves, everybody. Please. Candace said her name, but she's muted. Oh, there she is.
Candace Bouchard.
Thank you.
Todd Archulowski.
Melissa Bird.
Bob Geiger.
Candy Perez.
Sheila Sedlak.
Sheila said her name.
Jack Bork. Steven Sedlak.
Linda Grafo.
Great. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 3 is the agenda review. Anyone? Anyone for agenda review?
No.
Okay, seeing no one, we'll move to the approval of minutes. 4A is our regular meeting of November 16th. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Candace. Is there a second? Thank you, Jack, for the second. Any corrections, additions for Sheila? Hearing none, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. The next one are the special minutes of November 16th. May I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Jack. Is there a second? Thank you, Candace. Any corrections for that? That was Steve taking our minutes. Hearing none, everybody in favor? Unanimous? And then we have minutes of our special meeting on November 19th. May I have a motion to approve? Somebody? Linda, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Melissa. Any corrections or anything like that for the minutes? If not, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. All right, next up is public hearing presentations. We have a couple people to introduce, and I'm looking online here, and we have Terry Hall. So Bob, I'm gonna have you introduce her first, and then when Katie comes on, we'll do her
Okay.
right after that.
Okay, this is Terry Hall, and Terry has been selected to replace Lori when Lori leaves on December the 18th. So Terry has been up here now for 2 weeks. So she's sitting beside Lori out here, sucking up as much information she can as rapidly as she can. So Terry, welcome to the tribe, Terry.
Terry, would you like,
You're muted. You're muted, Terry.
you'd like to say something, feel free.
She's still on mute. There we go. Oops.
She's on mute. Bottom left button.
She looks like she's unmuted. She just might not be loud enough. Terry, it looks like you're unmuted. Maybe just lean into the computer more. The volume might be down.
How was that? Any better?
That's
Yes.
good.
That's what it was.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, and it's nice to meet everyone and put a name to the face. I have big shoes to fill, but I'm going to try my best.
She's doing it.
Well-
So
Welcome.
Thank you.
I haven't even bugged her yet.
Be gentle.
Always. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Katie's there now too.
Yep, I saw her come on. Okay, so the next person I'd like to introduce to everybody is Katie Vale, our new social worker. She is the product of a Building Healthier Communities grant that was through the Hartford Healthcare System and Charlotte Hungerford. And we wrote a grant, a town grant, to be able to fund a part-time social worker for the next 3 years. And the Building Healthier Communities Committee felt that this would be a good use of the funds that they have to make an impact here in Winsted. So we held interviews, obviously, and Katie came out on top. And she's been here working with Bob for the past couple weeks. She sort of did, baptism by fire. So Katie, you wanna just?
Let me just say a couple words. Katie's been here 4 weeks now. She dove right in, and she's just located outside my office where Candy used to be. We've thrown the mayor out, so Katie is in that office. But Katie, let me make sure we get the title officially correct here for everybody. She's our social services coordinator. So she's not a social worker. She's actually more than that. She is coordinating among all the various agencies in town. So she is officially our social services coordinator. And I'm trying to make sure we keep that distinction. Social worker is a very specific job function, and she's more than that. So she's not the social worker. She's the social services coordinator. Katie, you're on mute, okay?
She's muted.
Yeah.
She'll unmute.
There we go.
Hi. Sorry about that. Thank you for having me tonight. So Candy asked me to tell you a little bit about my experience. I've been in the field of human services for about 40 years, which is hard to say. I've worked with a variety of different populations. And recently in 2018, I got my master's degree in leadership in nonprofits from Springfield College. I also have my own consulting company, which is called Higher Standards, and I do basically policy work for people, agencies who need policies written. So I do that part-time as well. I'm from Winstead. I graduated from Gilbert in 1980. I live in Norfolk now. So far, I've gotten involved with about 10, maybe 12 different people in town. It's been really interesting. In a good way, Bob. There's been a variety of needs that I've come across. Everything from senior citizens moving to Florida and needs help getting packing boxes, to a young man who just became sole custody of his 2 children, and he has a variety of medical and mental health issues and needed some help with his benefits. So it's been all of that, boxes to benefits. I also have been working closely with the YMCA, and I'm very pleased with the work that they're doing there now. It's changed quite a bit than from a few years ago. So they have a time-limited program now, and they've got some very strict policies in place for folks there, and I think they're doing a great job. My hours are Monday and Tuesday 9 to 3, off on Wednesday. Thursday is 9 to 1, and Friday 8 to 12.
So please, when you all get a chance, stop by and meet Terry and Katie in person, please.
We're not allowed inside.
Well, I know. Well, we'll have an opportunity. So as soon as you're free to do so, but feel free to contact them if you've got any questions, comments, observations. So make them feel like part of us, even though it's kind of strange in here right now with this COVID. Thank you.
Bob, will you be adding the social workers' information on our website at times?
We will when we're ready. We'll add that as be part of our communication network. Not ready yet, but we'll figure that out.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else, anyone? If not, we'll move on to the town manager's report.
start my process here. Last week, November 23rd to 29th, I have here Monday, I met with Chief Rich, the police chief, regarding COVID absenteeism. We've had several officers, not all at once, but sometimes 3 at a time, in and out based on COVID issues in terms of their proximity to people who were tested positive. Met with the resident regarding several tenant issues that they happen to have with their landlord. I also met with our attorney, Bill Ryan, the labor attorney, regarding the finalization of the police contract, which has been completed, and we'll hope to have that finalized with the union on Wednesday. I'll have more feedback for you on that one soon. Tuesday, we had a hazmat mitigation meeting with the emergency manager director. We had a telephone conference with Andy Marola from CCM regarding the town manager search, which we're going to discuss later here. Wednesday, I had discussions with Katie Bale, so I'm meeting with Katie every day now as she's getting oriented and diving in. That's working out extremely well. I also I had met with Public Works regarding our Sucker Brook construction. If you've driven by there, you notice there's a lot of construction paraphernalia lining up so we can complete that project soon. I also met with the police department regarding cleaning of our cruisers. So because of COVID, we've had to do some extra and frequent cleaning of the police cruisers. We have a professional cleaning organization that come in to clean those to our new COVID standards. Thursday and Friday, we were closed for Thanksgiving. Saturday, I did meet with some lake residents regarding building issues, as we got a lot of permits out right now at the lake. A lot of work going on, a lot of questions. So it's really kind of stressing. Pam particularly has been heavily involved in our land use office trying to coordinate all the activities up there. This week, Monday, I met with Tanya regarding the cancellations due to COVID. We were going to do the Christmas tree lighting and the Freezing for a Reason, but we had to cancel all those type of events, which required us kind of undoing some things. Freezing for a Reason is going to still do their project, but each individual participant is going to sleep in their backyard at home during this and try to coordinate. We're trying to do a Zoom Freezing for a Reason sort of effect. We'll see how it works, but they're anxious to try it. I also on Monday met with another resident to discuss some personnel issues. I met with our attorney again regarding a different employee issue with our labor attorney. I met with Public Works regarding lake resident drainage issues. So we've had, as you know, we're trying to get down to 8 feet. We're almost there, and it keeps raining, but we're low enough for people to start work. I also had personnel issues here in Town Hall related to COVID. This thing is, it pops up, it's up and down, and we have to deal with it as it pops up, and relative to the degree of complications that occur. Tuesday, I did a blind site inspection on Chestnut Avenue for some citizens that were struggling with a particular older dwelling over there, which we're trying to take more positive action on. I also had a discussion with back with the fire marshal and the building official on how we're going to approach that. We'd like to get that addressed before the winter. I had more meetings and discussions with Katie Bale regarding various issues. She's come up to speed, so she's has dived right into the situation, so she's fully consumed. Let me see. Wednesday, I met with the planning department regarding permits and lake property repairs. So there've been, I don't know how many total permits we have issued up there, but there's a lot of activity going on right now. I had another blight site visit to a 61 Holibert Avenue and contacted the owner, who was a non-resident landlord. The property had deteriorated significantly it was almost right across from our senior center. The owner did come up the next day and cleaned a lot of that up with the help of myself, and Pam followed up on that to make sure he responded appropriately. We also had a telephone conference with the Northwest COG regarding the small business assistance. Thursday, I met with the planning office regarding inland wetland and zoning issues and rules for the work at the lake, because there's been significant controversy over what can and can't be done with and without permits. I also again met with our labor attorney regarding the finalization of the police contract, and I met with our town attorney regarding real estate liens on various properties. We had a Northwest Community College meeting, and we had a Beardsley Memorial Library meeting. And Friday, we had a meeting with the land use office regarding ECAD and their permitting process, and some lake residents, some other lake residents I met with and had discussions about what their work in progress is doing right now. That was it for the past week. Any comments, questions?
I have a question about the work at Sucker Brook for the culvert
Yes.
across the road. There's 24 days before the water starts coming up.
Right.
Are they gonna be able to do it? Because I understand they're waiting for, Army Corps permit or something?
Yeah, we're waiting for the Army. We believe we're gonna be okay, but we better get it so we think we're okay yet.
Okay, because there's,
It's not a lengthy project, but we've gotta start
well,
before the
yeah,
water starts.
because otherwise it'll start flooding up.
Yep, we're aware of it. We're aware of it. Jack?
Yeah, Bob, you mentioned, of course, all the controversy going on with the work around the lake, and of course, social media has had a great deal of interaction on that. There was one question that came up, and it looked like it might be our responsibility, and that is some of the drainage coming down from Vaughn Lane over the Wakefield Boulevard and into the lake. Are we looking at that as a public works issue?
No, we're not. Other than just to try to minimize the problems that comes off of Vons Lane. There's a lot of drainages up there. That whole area needs to be reconstructed, and there's even issues over whose property is what. So we have to do a little more surveillance on what we can and can't do. But Vons Lane that problem's been going on for a long time, and of course during a super heavy rain, we see some material washed down. So we do spend a lot of time cleaning up Vons Lane. But we don't have a good solution right now. We're aware it's problematic. I don't have a good answer, but part of it's the town, part of it's residents. So we're doing all we can to deal with that one. But that issue's kind of a mess up there. Part of the old water plant system was up there, and there's neighbors who don't agree on exactly where the lot lines are, but that doesn't stop us from trying to keep it cleaned up and the drainage flowing properly. But it's a problem. Vons Lane
Yeah,
needs to be reconstructed.
I was concerned about what I was seeing in some photographs regarding some washouts on Wakefield Boulevard and whether that might be dangerous in driving area.
Well, we make sure the roads are clear, the surfaces, particularly in the winter, we clear those surfaces. We have to patrol that around the lake every winter. That's not the only area where we have water accumulation, and it's poor drainage in many of those areas. That's part of the reason we can't maintain the roads as well as we'd like to, because there's a bigger drainage issue around the lake than there is really a surface problem.
Well, I can tell you Vons Lane is something that when I first got on the board, we identified it as the third biggest problem at the lake. And that's been a long time now. I also did a whole drainage thing over at Forest Avenue. There's only one drain on Forest Avenue at 135-ish, with all the water coming down from Forest Avenue, spills out onto the road, goes through the woods, throws it all into the lake. Same thing is happening actually up behind the dam now. The water coming off of Reaching Hill and Dutton Road, where we have the new culvert for the dam. The water washing out from in the back there, coming now through the dam as well, and heavy rains. So there's quite a few, and it might, at this point, it probably is gonna need a bond to be able to do this drainage work. We have all the flow coming off of 263, which is the state roads, comes down behind the Platt's house down by the beach, and it flows right down through there. It also flows through another yard in Second Bay where water is coming in. And then the other thing that I'm really concerned about is that the inland wetlands continues to allow people to drain their roof leaders and basement, the thing around the house. They're starting to tie in a lot to the
Curtain drains that go around our homes back into the
well,
lake.
but they're not drains, they're straight pipes. Most of these things are straight pipes. Whatever goes on the road in Highland Lake goes into Highland Lake in most cases. Most areas of drainage do not have a sump underneath them. You know, in a sump, the water comes in, everything heavy drops out, water rises, and it comes out. In most places, it's just a straight pipe into the lake, and I've been watching that on the, it just happened again, they just gave another approval for people to tie into that, where they should be going into a rain garden to allow for some filtering before they start sending it straight through the pipes, because Highland Lake should not be the storm sewer.
Candy, do we not have regulations in place to prevent some of that?
Well, the commission's allowing them to.
Over and above the regulations that are already there?
Well, apparently they feel it's okay. But I'm just concerned, yeah.
One of the observations I've had, the lake resident, the area is becoming populated faster than the current ordinances can keep up with it right now. But it's overpopulated up there, and there've been serious drainage problems up there ever since the lake existed.
There's
the
not a
whole road around the lake has got issues with drainage, but as Candy refers to these deeper sump type areas, we almost need different drainage. So whatever goes into the drain settles to the bottom, and we've got a new vacuum truck now. And part of our plan is to be able to vacuum some of those things out to prevent it from going on toward the lake. But it's been coming down those hills for about 3 million years now. Our job is to figure out how to stop it from building up any more.
Right.
It's not an easy solution.
But it's not coming down because of 3 million years. A lot of it's coming down because at Lake Warmog, they had a huge issue 30 years ago, and they've done a lot of work with low impact development around the lake. They've done a lot of things with the algae. They've done a lot of things with cleaning up the weeds. So they've spent a considerable amount of time, but the major one thing that has to be addressed is the low impact development. It's the rain gardens, the swales. It doesn't mean that people can't develop their land. They have to be able to use best practices with low impact and do that. And if people are not doing that and they're not paying attention, then they're putting their, in some cases, $1 million investments at risk for when the lake overloads and moves into a major algae issue. And, we all got to
I
Oh,
get
would tell you, we've got a lot more work, because we're not even close to being able to maintain that the way Lake Warmont does. And I don't have to tell you, we discussed it over time. Just look this weekend with the deep drawdown. We've had the issues over what you can do in the lake bed and what you can't, and I don't think that's even been clarified sufficiently. But there's a lot of work to do. It's almost like we need some more studies in order to develop proper ordinances to that effect.
Well, there are regulations. It's just that sometimes the regulations aren't followed. I mean, there's people doing things. Oh, never mind. I'll stop.
Let me ask then, Candy, if a regulation is not followed and the commission, the Inland Wetlands Commission, allows something to happen, do we, as representatives of the town, as a board of selectmen, can we go in and do something regarding that?
Not unless we create an ordinance, because inland wetlands and planning and zoning are by state statute, so we can't. But I think, Jack, you brought it up a few months ago, and I know I've talked to Bob about this, about having an enforcement agent. And instead of having inland wetlands do dock and mooring enforcement, and instead of just having Pam have to run around with the numbers of permits, and the numbers of permits are just because of the deep draw. Once the deep draw goes away, there won't be this kind of numbers. But of taking the planning position and making it, enforcement, and having more time.
I've suggested that we have an enforcement person for inland wetlands, planning and zoning, and blight. Because we frequently tax the planning office, which is trying to issue permits and help people, be taxed with almost a conflicting issue with trying to be the enforcement officer on some of the rules which aren't clear to people, which has to be discussed with both commissions before you can respond. But so I brought it up to Candy. I think it's a good idea to pursue the enforcement officer position. We've got
For all three of those, yes, one person.
Because
Do all three.
because I've been getting contacted more and more by people at the lake that are doing the right thing, that have been caring about the lake for a long time. And so they're getting frustrated that they're taking care of their property, and next door to them, somebody else is doing something else. So there are people that have been active for a long time that, like I said, are doing the right things. So it's just a matter of making sure that they
Most of the issues that I confront with are usually a neighbor bringing up an issue with a different neighbor or another resident at the lake. There's a lot of those issues.
Well, Bob, to go back to that point of an enforcement officer that we talked about months ago, can we do anything to get that more, maybe more timely than waiting for the next budget year?
Yeah, I think right now, I've got the funds available through some of our other sources of revenue to cover that position. Pam and I discussed it again today with coming up with a distinctive job description. And I'll go back to civil service with that and start the process. But I've actually interviewed a couple of people in anticipation of this.
Yeah, because we shouldn't wait till the July budget comes in if
Oh,
this
no,
is.
this can be done. If the right person walked in the door right now, I'm ready to move on that. But in the meantime, we're gonna have to be more proactive in the search for the same position.
Fair enough, good.
Anything else? Candace?
Bob, how's the meeting going with Eversource and all the lights on Main Street?
Well, they know they've got
In your
an
report.
well, they knew there was an underground problem there with the dig, and I think the dig wasn't from Eversource, it was from the state, and they're putting in their new, it appears to have occurred with the new, street lights, which are still yet to be implemented. If you've noticed, they've got all the big, the poles up, but they don't have the lights, but somewhere they've got to coordinate with, Eversource and the state to getting that fixed. We've asked them to get it done by this week, because we had some vandalism, I think, as you know, just a week ago relative to our snowflakes out there, which had something to do with that dark area on the street. So it's, we're pushing them. I'll try to keep pushing them harder to get that fixed, but, so we've got 10 lights in a row there. I don't know if you've noticed, or you may have. I think you and I talked about it once. I've just got to push them harder to make them get it done, because we can't fix it. They have to do that. But it's Eversource and the state both. So I'll just try to make that a higher priority and push that through.
And just regarding the lights, the Christmas lights, was it Friends of Main Street who did it around the green, or was that the town?
No, that was the rec department.
The rec department.
They're responsible for the green.
It was beautifully done this year.
And they did the tree and the sleigh and the deer, and yeah, it does look good.
And the rope light
The
around
thing
the,
they're missing is they need a star. You need a star on top of the tree.
We need a star on top of the tree.
the rope light on the fence looked really good this year. It was one of the best I've seen.
I've had people ask us to put it all the way around the entire park already. It does look nice. I don't know if everyone's noticed the snowflakes. Pam, why don't you talk about, I think Candace did a fabulous job of getting those snowflakes up. I don't know if you couldn't help but notice them.
Paid for by our bank, Community Bank. So who knows if that'll ever happen again, but
Can those be
I
saved?
think you can make that happen again, Candace.
Are those one-time use, Ken?
Yes.
They're
The other's just painted on there.
they're hand painted, Jack.
It's white latex, and really, the artist he's really good, obviously.
Right, and there was a young man that came in and repaired them. It was Sands Oaks, his first name, but
Ewan.
huh?
Ewan.
Ewan.
I think his name is Ewan.
Yeah. Well, he
He
did
and
it.
his mom came down and I repainted the damage.
Right. So they stepped forward. So that was very nice.
He was angry, which was very nice to hear. A lot of people in town were, but I'm hoping we'll catch the culprit.
I think we have. We'll let you know a little later.
Anything else? If not, we'll move on to citizens' comments. If you have a comment, please call 860-738-6958. Again, that is 860-738-6958. And one last time, because I'm supposed to say things 3 times. 860-738-6958. Okay, we'll move on to item 8, which is correspondence. Anyone? 9 is boards and commissions. Steve, do we have anything?
Well, as you saw in your packet, we have no action at this particular time except for one item. I just want to welcome you, Terry, and I see Lori's in the meeting as well. This is a big deal for the selectmen. Every meeting we have, we typically have action on who's going to come on the commission, who has resigned, where vacancies are. It's a very important thing we do. And I've relied on Lori over the years. I mean, she always has a handle on everything. But I'm the liaison who presents it at the town meeting, at the selectmen's meeting rather. So I will be communicating with you, Gary, about what you know about what's coming up and what we need to do together. Because, like I said, this is very important for the selectmen. So, welcome to you, Terry.
Thank you. Lori has been,
Lori, a big thank you for all of your work on boards and commissions that you've done all these years. There is one piece of action we can take. You have in your package a letter of interest from a citizen, Jeffrey Lippincott, and he's interested in membership on the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission. So following our process, I will enter his name for consideration, and we'll do our vetting, and then our next meeting we'll do a nomination, and hopefully at the following meeting we'll do an appointment through IWWC for Jeffrey Lippincott.
Is there an opening?
Linda?
I just have one comment. I don't think there is an opening. I'm asking Lori, there is a template that you gave us way back in June of 2019, listing all the different commissions, commissioners, their addresses, their phone numbers, when their term expires, and their positions. Could you get an updated copy of that to us before we leave?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That would be great. It'd be easier to read. The way I read the one for inland wetlands is that the maximum number of members is 9, and it looks like there are 9 members, but I'm not sure. I have things crossed off, and may not be up to date.
It's definitely not up to date, and the next one I will include a current listing. I believe there is 1 vacancy and another pending.
Okay, then we can make our decision. Thank you.
Well, you'd be making it for a nomination next meeting anyway, so.
But then we could see if
Right.
in fact a vacancy, correct?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, that's it, Candy.
Well, Candace has her hand up. Candace?
We also have, John Cooney has not responded to the planning and zoning position. That ended at the end of October. So, what is the process? Are we gonna communicate with the chairman to find out if he is going to, volunteer to be reappointed?
Lori, what do you think?
If you notice, I only just sent that out this week. I was hoping you would respond by the time of your meeting tonight. I did not hear from him. I don't know how I skipped him, but I skipped him, so that's completely my fault.
You're fired, Lori.
Oh, good, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Jack, you had your hand up?
Yeah, my question was similar to Candace's regarding John Cooney's status. It would seem that Lori, are you saying actually he didn't get this letter until you sent it out November 30th? So he's only had a week to respond.
Right.
Okay, we need to hold that decision then until our next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that today. We realized that.
It's unfortunate that he or the chairman doesn't follow up on that themselves. It shouldn't solely be on that position's responsibility for that. If, you know, if a term is up, you know, we hope that the boards, the chairman of their commissions would look at those expiration dates at their meetings and remind their members to look at their expiration dates and to communicate without waiting for a letter from the town manager if they wish to be reappointed.
We'd like to do that, but that occurs on almost every commission we have, quite frankly.
I know, I'm just stating that's what I would like them to happen. This is a live meeting, that is what I would love to keep as a backup, so.
Anything else? Okay, so we will move on to new business, and underneath new business is the Board of Education non-lapsing account, and this is Bob and Bruce, please.
Yeah, so let me just, we've done this before. This is money that has, that the Board of Ed has left that we want to be able to expend for next year's expenditures. So it has to go, the Board of Selectmen can place any money that's left into a separate account called a non-lapsing account. We've done it in the past. We're asking to do it again this year. It's allowed to be up to an amount of 2% of the budget. And this year, that 2% would have been $399,000. This year, the Director of Finance determined the exact amount to be deposited in the non-lapsing account is $362,911. And we're requesting that the Board of Selectmen should consider placing this into authorizing to be placed in a education appropriation non-lapsing account for the future use by the Board of Education. We've done this before. We recommend that you do this again.
Bruce, do you have anything to add?
Laid out in front of you there.
Bruce, do you have anything to add?
Only that this is coming to you probably later than normal. We usually get this number back in September, October, but the COVID pandemic environment has delayed a lot of deliveries that were ordered as part of the fiscal year 20 activities of the Board of Education, and it was only this last month when they finally resolved all those late deliveries or canceled those outstanding purchases.
We have no problem, from our point of view of management, we believe this should be done.
Jack?
Jack?
Yeah, Bruce, I do notice in the letter of recommendation that the money can also be used for the non-bondable Hinsdale renovation cost. Is there a limitation on that, or can the whole thing be used for something like that?
That's really it. That's up to the Board of Ed.
They have complete control over this.
This is their money. It's already been authorized. We're just putting it in an account.
And there's no limitation on how it can be used?
Because we don't control it.
Well, it's not our money.
Melanie, is there anything you'd like to say?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for hearing this request tonight. I would like to say that, you know, a lot of this money came through the renegotiation of contracts. A good portion of the money, I would say probably close to a third of it, came from renegotiation of bus contracts and savings that we incurred from not having in-person instruction from the spring on. So I would appreciate being able to utilize these funds going forward for potentially unforeseen situations that may arise. So I appreciate your consideration this evening.
Well, with the COVID and everything you're dealing with, I'm imagining that you have quite a few unexpected costs this year?
We definitely do. Our last balance sheet for this particular fiscal year we're in, I think we had no more than a $5,000 swing right now. We're in black by about 5,000, but we're literally watching every dime right now as we move forward.
So this has no effect on any taxes, has no effect on any increases. It's just what you had in your budget last year, and because of things and how they worked out, you were able to save money with those bus contracts and renegotiated them like most towns did. So, does any other selectmen
Yes.
have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Candace. Anybody on the second? Melissa, thank you. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of approving the non-lapsing account? Looks unanimous to me. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you for your support on behalf of the Board of Ed.
The next one on our agenda for new business is the one we do, I thought it was every month, but it almost seems like every meeting now, is the refunds as recommended by the Collector of Revenues. Bob?
Okay, I've got, you've seen this before, so is what these are refunds as recommended by the Collector of Revenues. The total, this time is $3,190. There's 5 different refunds. We've got, one is real estate and 4 are motor vehicle. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 real estate and 2 motor vehicle. One as high as $2,141, a duplicate payment, and one as low as $10.88 on a supplemental real estate tax. So 5 up for $3,190. I recommend you so approve these refunds.
I have a motion to approve. Thank you, Todd. Linda, thank you for the second. Any other questions? If not, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay, so this is where it's going to get a little Zoom tricky. We're going into executive session regarding the town manager search, so I'll entertain a motion in a minute. But unfortunately, those of you that cannot go into the search will have to leave our meeting. So if you leave yourself, then you can come back in. I'll admit you back in when we're done. If I kick you out, then I don't think you get back in again. So if you're not on the Board of Selectmen or on the Town Manager Search Committee, I'm sorry to say you need to go take a recess.
Hi, Bruce.
Candy, I'm just clarifying that you have me staying in or not.
Oh, yes, you're on the Town Manager
Okay, I
Committee.
just wanted to be clear.
And Steve has his hand up.
And the motion,
Yep, thank you.
I move we enter executive session for discussion of personnel, that is the town manager search, inviting all members of the search committee.
Is there a second, please? Thank you, Jack. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, so here we are. I'll tell you what I know. At this point in time, Andy Marola last week had a death in his family, so he wasn't around at all last week. So I finally got in touch with him at the very end of the week, and he is perfectly fine with sending us resumes before we schedule an interview. So I told him that's what you all wanted to do. So before we schedule any interviews with any of his candidates, we will send the resumes to you, and then we will have you call Terry and let Terry know if you're a yes or no with an interview or not.
Candidate.
Huh? Yeah, if you're okay with the candidate.
Candidate.
Yeah. So that's all Andy has is one. We got a random, what you call it, a random resume, and I think it came from something I posted on a graduate school website. But Bob looked at that, and we're thinking that's not really a candidate for us. So then in the meantime, I talked to Luke Bronin in Hartford and asked him if he knew of anybody. I talked to Mark Boughton in Danbury and asked him to put out the word, and Susan Brassfield in Portland. And then Bob, I think, has been poking around some ways, right, Bob?
Yeah, I have been. I've talked to a few people from some kind of back channel networks, so it doesn't look like I'm trying to steal anyone, but I'm trying to get some more leads. I've got a couple of leads, but nothing positive yet. So, but we're looking.
So does anybody else have anything that they've run into or talked to anybody about this week or last time we met? Linda?
Yeah, I looked at the CCM website postings. I had not looked at them in the past. And I was a little disappointed. The posting for Winchester had a closing date of 11/13/20, and it was never changed.
Okay, hey, can you hang on 1 second?
Sure.
Oops. Okay. I didn't unplug from the TV.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. So I just unplugged.
And shut off the recording.
Oh, oh,
It's off.
oh, Sheila shut it off. Oh, thank God.
Okay, to get back to the posting, it had the 11/13 is passed. Other postings that were on there that the closing date said until filled. I think if we're going to stay with them, I think they should update our posting and say the closing date is until filled, like other positions in other towns.
Okay, we'll get that note out. We'll get
I
that
would
note out.
hardly agree with that. I noticed that too, Linda, so
Okay.
thanks for bringing that up.
When you notice things like that, let me know right away and I'll send it right out to Andy.
Okay.
So there's no backup to Andy?
Well, the backup to Andy is just the ads are still out there, and we've been poking around as best we can, you know, with the graduate schools, with the people I've talked to, with people Bob have talked to. So,
I identified a couple of.
hang on 1 second.
level,
Just hang on 1 second. Somebody's telling me the audio is still on. Sheila, I just got a text from somebody that the audio is still on. It doesn't matter, it's still going out through the TV.
Oh, I'm gonna have to shut it.
It's going out through to everybody's hearing what's in executive session if they're watching TV.